pact once broken, forged anew.
Did you want waffles?
Good morning, everybody.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Welcome to Warlocks and Waffles, the only show proven by medical scientists not to benefit you in any way if trying to treat scurvy. This is a TTRPG morning show, and we are here. Welcome. Welcome to the show. You have joined us and thus are watching or listening to this as well, also too.
This
Huzzah.
is how Hunter, and this is Hunter and mine's impersonation of my daughter. This is what we think she sounds like.
This is an impersonation of Junie's daughter's inner monologue.
This is how she talks.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for being here. Junie, I'm very excited about today's topic because today's topic is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart.
Oh, that's
I'm
surprising.
very exciting.
I just want to give everybody a inside look. Hunter messaged me yesterday and I've got a topic if you're down. I said, what are you thinking? And he said reggaeton. So I was like, okay.
Junie's immediate response was, no, I hate pasta and anything connected to pasta. I thought that was a bold stance to take. I wasn't going to mention it, but like, how was your week, Junie?
I've never seen an Uno reverse card played in real life so hard. Like, I thought I did it. I thought I played a Yu-Gi-Oh! Uno reverse Yahtzee card, right? And Hunter said, hold on to my drink. Like, watch this.
Oh man.
Oh man, did you ask me a question just now? I don't even know.
Did.
I was stunned
how was your week?
Okay. Yeah, it happened. I think I had an answer for that, and it was just gone.
Yeah, y'all just watch psychic damage in real time.
I thought I was like, I'm gonna get him. We're talking about reggaeton, funny, and you were like, like mental math in a split second.
Oh man. Welcome to the show. Clearly a TTRPG morning show. Did you do anything fun this week, Junie?
No. Yeah, just random fun shenanigans with my kid. I have more than once been told by my wife that I need to start like blogging or doing something because I accidentally
give me 1 second. You entertained the people. I just heard something fall over, immediately followed by the dog's paws in the hallway running away.
Oh God. Okay.
So I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll just talk except for a split second about my nerd crap. My whole branding is very nerdy dad. So what happens is what I think is like just like, oh, I'm doing some sort of like default activity, a parent activity. Turns out I've overcomplicated it or made it really, really crazy. So what was the last thing I did? I'm pretty sure that this was the most recent. I'm like, oh, I'll tell I'll tell my kid, hey, let's go outside, let's go do something. This is a TTRPG morning show. This is not you could yeah people could spin this somehow. Uh, Full blown. It's like, all right, I got. What do you want to do? And it's like just outside, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure out something to entertain this kid. So I made a full blown scavenger hunt and gave them real binoculars. And that is the meaning of reggaeton
Okay, I'm
Christmas.
back.
Oh, hey you.
Um, I have no idea what it was. I see no sign of anything having fallen. Maybe he's just stupid.
That's
Maybe it's Maybelline.
okay. All right, going back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
What
Do you have
what's
a?
happening?
Do you do anything fun this week?
Oh, just dumb overcomplicating parenting crap with my kid. Making stupid scavenger hunts or I think she just understands games now and
Yeah.
she's getting better with it. Um so when I like there's a thing where do you remember an era of your life we're just witnessing, like if it's like two kids playing a game but it's like a little sibling, so they don't plug in the controller so they think they're
Mm,
playing type of situation.
yeah. 100%.
So when it's like a little kid and you're playing a game with them, you can just kind of like, oh, let's make all the colors pop up, or like, flip all these cards and now they're all face up. Just something where it's like a quote unquote game, right? But she's gotten to the point where like we understand rules in some mechanic in some way. So it's like we'll like, playing like a matching game or go fish or something. And my wife is still in the mindset of, oh, let's just haha cards. And I see her laying out go fish cards, crazy eight cards, and these like little Uno cards. And I was just like, she has no idea what the fuck you're getting at right now. She's just like, and my kid's like there trying to logic out what's the correlation between all these cards. What am I supposed to achieve here? And I was like, she doesn't know what your objective is. You need to simplify or explain what the hell you have going on here.
Yeah.
And I think she was just organized. I don't think she was making up a complicated game. But
Right.
I saw my kid like this, like,
Father,
father's prepared me for
Father,
this.
these cards, they're not from the same game, Father. How am I supposed to play this?
I should make it make sense.
Father, do you have a rule sheet? I could really benefit from an explanation of this system.
She does it. She's like, oh yes, thank you. Quite.
When is tea?
This all started because I said my kid says of course, and she's not 3, and just I'll be like, hey, you gotta wait your turn. She's like, oh, of course. It's like,
It's
oh
I
my
love hearing new things that your daughter has started saying, because it is always a thing older than she is. Like it's very entertaining. She is a
oh,
riot.
I think this isn't too. This isn't like this is the last parenting bullcrap before we go on, but like I don't think this is super. This is just a first thing for us. This
Mhm.
isn't like a thing. Oh, kids don't do this, but she looked at me yesterday and said, "Dad, I want Wawa," and I said, "What?" And then she said, "Mac and cheese." She thought
Uh-huh.
when I said what, she meant what do I want? What does she
Right.
want from Wawa?
Yeah.
And I was like, "You understand a place?
Yeah.
You understand a place that has something
You've
specific?
become
You
so self-aware that you now
you
know
become
the
so sentient."
location that has the food item you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that threw me through a damn loop. I was floored.
Cause like
Oh shit.
I understand like a McDonald's, like you want like McDonald's or a Happy Meal, like I understand that. There is something uniquely funny about I want mac and cheese from Wawa, Father. Take me there now.
You know something though? If before like she's been with me in the drive-through of like a Wawa or a Wendy's. I mean, not a Wawa, a McDonald's or a Wendy's, right?
Yeah.
But that's just the place we get chicken nuggets. So
Yeah.
the other day I was just like, "What chicken nugget?" She's like, "I want chicken nugget." I was like, "From where?" And then I think I saw her brain short circuit because then
Mm,
she was like, "Oh, they're different, but I don't know their names because we haven't
right.
referred to them differently."
Right.
Wawa's the only thing that we've like referred
Sure.
to by name, and Wawa's has kids meals that are in basically the Happy Meal containers.
Yeah.
So her McDonald's is our childhood McDonald. Like, yeah, it's that thing where it's like you get a
Interesting.
Happy Meal on a thing. They come
Yeah.
with little playing cards. She has like too many of those playing card collection. Like she has I started a little binder page. Like it's
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, we
But
already heard about Uno, Crazy Eights.
yeah, she likes cards so much. It's yeah. But
Don't when she gets old enough,
mhm.
resist the urge to teach her like magic. Like Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. Like it,
Yeah.
you're gonna be tempted to get her into like Pokemon and stuff like that because she likes cards and it seems like an obvious step. Resist that urge, Junie. that is a
She
never-ending hole you'll never climb out of.
yeah. I think that would be one like she that I have a whole thing against Magic, y'all, and this is gonna. We're doing the hot takes and being canceled. There's a hot takes and portion of our show where Junie tap dances on being canceled every morning. And mine is I could never get into Magic for two reasons,
Okay.
and I always had qualms. And then I would challenge people to defend it and go prove me wrong.
Uh-huh.
And it's one, there's a lot of formats and it's not just like, oh, yeah, these cards are a little older and it's expanded, and
Right.
then they're standard. I would hear my friends talk and I'd be like, oh, what are you playing? Commander? No, I'm playing Swiss Double Dutch Express. Like, just they would just name things. And I was just like, you're just putting words together and it's a format.
Yeah.
Oh, you use 100 cards? What's
That's
happening here? Okay.
that's not a Magic the Gathering game.
So
That's
for
a
somebody
strain of weed.
Yeah. So from like someone in the outside has no idea, I'd be like, whatever. And two, if I opened a pack of cards, I would never know which one's the good one because
Right.
they're all epic and dope.
Yeah.
More than one's shiny, more than one's epic and dope. If I open a pack of Pokemon cards, this is the good one. This
Right.
is the one that's shiny. This is
Yeah.
the one that has crazy shit going on. And my qualm is like they're all too dope. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like I have nothing, and I know that there's like a rarity way. There's a way to go. This is the better one of this. But for a casual like getting into it, I remember seeing my friends open up packs, and I'd be like, why are you getting
It's
excited over that one? This
it's
one has like
difficult
a
to
manticore slaying like a
right.
piano. Like this one looks cooler, but that one, the sheep is the dope one. Like I don't
This one
understand.
says I get to summon a swarm of rats. That's cool. Can I build a whole rat deck? Like that
Yeah.
sounds like fun. Yeah,
So I don't
I
have to worry about her and Magic unless she gets like really deep into the Kool-Aid, like as a
yeah.
teenager, maybe.
I I mean, this might be the thing that sinks us, Junie. I also don't get Magic.
Oh, I mean, I get it. I've played it, so
We're
I
we're a
understand it,
TTRPG
but it's
morning
just
show. We spend a lot of our time
not
talking
a
about Dungeons and Dragons. Wizards' other project, we don't like. I
TTRPG, not TCG.
when I
I can't talk
played
about other card games.
when I lived in Texas, one of my coworkers was really into Magic, and tried to convince all of us to like get Magic decks so that we could like
Mhm.
play against each other. And all of us refused because we didn't have a lot of money and also didn't want to play. And
Mhm.
so then he, on his off days, went back to his mom's place where he had like all of his like old Magic cards, got all of them, built decks for everybody who worked there, so that we all had Magic decks, and then he would like challenge us to games. So I've only ever played Commander, because that
Mhm.
is the deck that he built for us because that was what he wanted to play. And he was like, I'm gonna give you this deck because it's gonna like convince you to play, and like you're gonna get suckered in, and then you're gonna want to build your own deck and stuff like that. And I don't think a single person went out
Wow.
and bought more cards or anything like that. We were like, if you want to play, you've given me this deck. This is the deck I will play you again with. But like, I have no interest in doing this like scavenger hunt of card packs. Like, if I got into that, it would be so insanely dangerous for me. I cannot do blind packs. If I do blind packs, I will just immediately start buying so many blind packs. I do that with the mini blind boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while I'll find one and I'm like, "Ooh, I should do one of these." And I'm like, "This was a mistake because now I want to open 4 more of them."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
It's a slippery slope,
it is.
and it's oh man, yeah, yeah. Let's get off of this. Let's get off this. Back to reggaeton. Um.
One last
Oh,
note on
yeah.
trading card games. I know you're a Pokemon fan.
Hmm.
Did I ever tell you about my only experience with the Pokemon card game?
No.
I wasn't allowed to interact with Pokemon when I was little. Couldn't watch the show, couldn't play the game, like anything like that. My parents thought it was demonic. So I wasn't allowed to play Pokemon. I had cousins who were very into Pokemon. Like it was their whole thing. They had massive tubs of the cards and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I was at like a Walmart or something like that with my parents. We were on our way to see like our cousins. We're walking out to our car and I saw a Pokemon, like a pack of Pokemon cards that somebody had like lost in the parking lot. And so I like grabbed it before my parents could see, put it into my pocket. And then when we got to my cousin's place, I was like pulled them aside. I'm like, I got cards, and they're like, you don't have anywhere near enough cards to play. But I was like, I've got cards, and so I like opened it, and there was a foil Mewtwo card in there that my one cousin
Ooh.
lost his mind over.
Oh.
And so I knew that I wasn't allowed to have these cards, and these cards meant nothing to me. So I traded it to him for like a bunch of Star Wars action figures.
Hmm.
It was
I
great.
mean that's solid
Yeah,
playground arithmetic
it
right
was
there. That's how that
fantastic.
works.
Good Snowy Night redeemed hydrate. Hello, Good Snowy
Woo.
Night. It has been a while.
We're a
Welcome to the show.
TCG morning show now. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
um,
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation
I have
other
so
than
many.
that those 2 stories. Those are the only stories I have connected to trading card games.
I love. You know what? Here's the thing. I love card games.
Mhm.
Where you can, because the whole thing is like, you just want to play.
Yeah.
And now that I know that drafting games exist, where
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, here's a bunch of cards and you're all building it. That simulates like a
Yeah.
playground logic of like, hell, oh, I bought cards. Let's make a thing.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you either didn't have enough or you couldn't do it, or like, oh,
Mhm.
I made something. I'm proud of it. It's like, but Jerry has more money, so
Right.
he can build like the ultimate whatever Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and I
Yeah.
can't. So,
That's the other like reason I never wanted to play those games
hmm.
was like in a game where you can just buy better cards. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, well then like I will never have the best deck here. Um yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's wild.
There's
Um
there's a game that I'm trying to, like, not get into. I was given a bunch of packs, where it is called Multiverses, and it is a
mhm.
card game where it has a bunch of different universes, so you could
Yep.
play My Hero Academia, but they're releasing a Vox Machina set, and they're
Ooh,
also releasing a Cowboy Bebop set, so you can pick your
that's
favorite
cool.
anime, or now they're just getting into other properties,
Mhm.
and I could have, like, like the twins from Vox Machina,
Yeah.
and like I don't like literally just any other anime character
Yeah.
all in the same deck of cards, and
I like that.
it's nuts.
That's cool. Um
So what do you want to talk about Reggaeton today? What's going on? What's happening?
I want to talk about pirates today. And they're like specifically how they connect and interact with like TTRPGs. Um I love pirates. Pirates are a passion of mine. I am consistently saddened by the fact that like I have a lot of special interests, but I got the brand of neurodivergency where I have a, I have knowledge about a bunch of things,
Mhm.
but I don't have like super in-depth knowledge about anything. And pirates is one of the things where I'm like, I know a lot about pirates, but I'm not a like, oh yes, well this pirates was from this date to this date, or
You
like
like pirates a whole ton, but you're not
I
a
yeah,
pirate buff.
yeah, like I don't think there is anything that I would consider myself having a like an extreme amount of knowledge on. Like
Like an
Dungeons and Dragons is
encyclopedia-like
probably
knowledge.
the closest, but even that,
Mhm.
like, I am good at running games. I know a lot, but like I don't have any of it memorized. Like I know people
Yeah, like
who just like
yeah.
know the stat blocks, have the spells all memorized, like all of this stuff. Um like that's not the case for me, but like I like the game. I know a lot about it. I've run more than enough games of it. Um but I love pirates. And I think there is something just very fun and unique about sort of a pirate adventure. And we ran a game with Rosie. We actually talked about it recently.
Mhm.
We ran a
Yeah.
game with Rosie using Pirate Borg, which I think is a fantastic system. Shout out Pirate Borg. That really plays into that sort of like pirate vibes. Um, but I wanted to talk today about the core elements of a pirate adventure. What makes it a pirate adventure? The Because I have seen people that are like, I'm running a pirate adventure, and then it's like, really, you just have an adventuring party on a ship. Like this is not a pirate adventure. You are just a ship adventure. You are like sailing from place to place, and I think there is clear differentiation between those two. Um, so I bring to the court, the general audience, our packs, all of these people. I bring to you today. I think there are three things that make a pirate adventure. One, in a regular, just you're a ship adventure, like
Mhm.
not you're a ship, but you're on a ship adventure. I think the ship is kind of just a secondary thing. With a pirate adventure, I think the ship is important. I think the ship is like a pirate ship has a name. It has like character to it. It is something that like builds renown as a ship. You think of like the Black Pearl, the Flying Dutchman, the Queen Anne's Revenge. Like these are ships that like the ship themselves gained notoriety and gained infamy.
I actually have a it's not a hard counter to that. It is a soft counter. Um, a ship of some sort.
Yeah,
Like it needs to be there needs to be a travel situation. I don't think that the ship itself has to have renown or that. The ship is a member of the crew.
that
And
was
so
exactly my next point.
but do you
Yeah,
understand? So what you said, like, yes, but not because like, oh, it's a ship. It's just another member of the
yeah,
crew. And so that way it is not like literally overshadow anybody, but it does have its own it does have a reputation, renown in the same way, like, oh, Jack
yeah,
over there,
yeah,
he does blank. So it is something where it's like, I don't like it's like it needs one and it needs to be given enough flavor to almost have a personality. It doesn't need to
yeah.
be sentient. Um, but it serves its purpose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It
Yes.
doesn't like
In a
it shouldn't.
in just a adventure on a boat, the boat is a tool that you use to like carry out your objectives. In the same way that uh, a party may have like mounts that are nothing more than their mounts. Like a ship does the same thing. In a pirate adventure, the ship is integral to the party. Like it is a part of the party in the same way as like a mounted combatant, like somebody whose whole build is built around their mount, and like they make that mount like a part of the party and like all of that, or like a ranger's animal companion. If you think of like a Vexalia and Trinket, right? Like this is now a member of the party. Which is, yes, exactly. The ship has to have personality. It doesn't have to have infamy and notoriety yet. Like it can be just a ship, but it's a ship that is a part of the party. Like there is a element of uh devotion to the ship as being a part of the crew.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I'm with
second
it.
thing I think makes it a pirate adventure. Treasure, maps. Like you gotta be going after some sort of like hidden or lost thing. Like there's almost a level of like, well, that's just every adventurer. Every adventurer is looking for like the lost temple of whatever, the like hidden treasure of this. Like, yeah, pirates are just adventurers. But like for a pirate, it's about the journey. Like it's like, yes, they are looking for the treasure. For a adventurer, uh the goal is just, let's find the treasure, get the treasure, yay. For a pirate, it is about solving that and figuring out the clues that led you to this thing, and like going and finding this adventure. I do feel it's necessary to make a disclaimer that like there is a type of pirate that is just like, yes, we sail the seas and we sink ships and we attack people and we raid towns, and like all of that, like the nasty evil pirates. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the like romanticized, like sword and sail and adventure sort of pirate.
Well, I think when you say like when it comes to real life, it's just pretty much somebody that's going to get what they want
Mhm,
and they don't care how they do it, and then it's going to be bad. But when you think of it in that like I'm gonna pillage and steal, it is like a like it's a hero villain on the same coin situation,
mhm,
because the whole thing is I'm going to go get what I'm after.
mhm,
And then it's the approach where it's like I value the adventure and this thing, and the other one's like I value the thing more,
mhm,
so I don't care about a life or the law or
mhm,
anything like that. So it's a matter of like, when you think of like a villain, it is like a lawful villain in the sense of like, that there's the driving force is the same thing. So it's
mhm.
like when you're building like a hero or an arc or a campaign, and you have foils, it's like, well, they're doing the same thing, but like this.
Yeah. Um, I think the hunt for treasure is the thing that sets a pirate apart, right? It's the thing that they are pursuing and trying to like go after. The it comes down a lot for me to like, how do you separate an adventurer versus a pirate? Like a lot of the stuff that is pirate focus, like oh, they want gold. Yeah, that's true to both of them. They
Hmm.
want a like they want to drink and like party and like sing shanties and stuff like that. Yes, that's both adventurers and pirates. Um so like for me, when I started thinking about this, the what I'm attempting to do is separate what is different about those objectives, because both groups are going to be looking for gold. Both groups are going to drink and sing. Like it is a the difference is the objective and the way they go about them.
Can I propose something to you? Because
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought of like a gotcha type of like like, well, what about blank? And then it
Heck
hurt
yeah.
my brain so much that I legitimately it turned into a hmm. And what if all we're saying is just pointless, right? Because you're right that there is a very like there's a lot of commonality between like
Uh-huh.
just adventurers and pirates and stuff like that. And then uh it's like when we were doing our pirate venture, it was like among the stars.
Yeah.
They were sailing amongst the stars. There's a vastness. It's an exploration of the vastness of something. And then I was just like, if you take a boat, right, and it's the ocean, and then it comes up to shore, and then it goes on shore, and there's wheels, and then it's just on land, they're not pirates anymore.
Hmm.
There's almost like this they're pirates are adventurers that go beyond roads. They they they
I would
traverse
agree with
like
that. They
there's like
are
a traverse of they're plunging into the vast horizon. They're not
yeah,
there's maps, but there is not like because like I said, if I just took the boat and put it on land,
right.
then I'm like that feels different.
If you are
Even if it's like wasteland.
right.
Well, no, even then, if you put them on freaking sand and it's just an ocean of sand, that comes back to feeling piratey again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
Do you
mean,
understand what I mean?
in Hash Browns and Hooligans, I had a like this vast desert wasteland, and I had they weren't they weren't airships, but they were like sand ships that would like
Sand, yeah,
skim
okay.
across it, and there were like sand pirates.
But
Um,
but there is this. Is it just they're adventurers that that do not fear like there is something. Have you ever stared at the horizon on a boat on a boat at night?
yeah,
It is just a vast
it's just pitch
nothingness.
black. Yeah,
And then to go, I'm gonna go into that.
yeah.
I like it's I'm gonna go look for what I want over there type of thing.
I think there's a because you're right. Like if you have people doing the same thing that pirates do, but they're in a forest,
Like, why does that
that's
feel so
it
different? But
feels
it
different,
does.
right? I think for me a
Ooh, no, I brought
uh
it back. Imagine like a forest world and the boats skim along the canopies, so it just looks like you're on an ocean of like
mm,
leaves. And
there is
then
something here of like the
there is like if you as long as you are traversing an expanse,
right.
a uniform expanse, and you don't know what is beyond the horizon, and then you can find towns, you can find people, civilization, things, but there is this you your vessel, and you have to explore, navigate to the thing, but you can't see the thing. You know it's out there, and you have to go find it, and you have to like. So it's this whole like you have nothing to go on. It's just literally the thrill of adventure, or the hope, or the whatever it is.
Let me posit something off of that.
Positive
I
right up
I
in there.
I think what makes a forest different to me is that in a forest you are like first of all, I think in order to be a pirate you need to have some sort of vessel, right? Something that is like transporting you and your crew. Like a group of figures on horseback are not pirates. Like
Ba-
they could be pirates, but that like if that is their thing and
Mhm.
that's the only thing they
Yeah.
do, like they're not pirates. The I think what makes a forest different to me is that there is like there's trees all around you. And so there's this like there are things. There are things just all around you like your vision is blocked. You can't see like all in every direction. But it is like there are things. Whereas the thing that is kind of similar to all the other things that we've mentioned of like like airship pirates, desert pirates, like treetop canopy pirates, the ocean pirates, like all of those things. They are at the surface looking out across the horizon, and even in like like if there are dunes in the desert, that's still like waves almost. Like there are highs and lows, but it is uh, a vast open space. I think the moment there are like these things around you, it feels different. I also think that it has to have a level of like uh hostility where like you are living in a ship. Like this is your base. There's a level of like nomadicness to a pirate, right? Like they're not
Mhm.
like yes, we live here and we are like going out to this other place and then we come back and like doing all of that. They may have like a home port, but for the most part like the ship is their home. And so they are traveling through like these places where other things aren't living. Um it is this like hostile environment where their home moves with them in these places. And I think there's a level of that too, of like a forest feels like there's too many animals and creatures and stuff that are in that same space. Like there are a lot of fish and stuff in the ocean, but they are
Mhm.
under the surface, which I think is the same reason that like on top of trees in a very dense jungle feels different than in the jungle
Yeah,
itself.
that's yeah. That
Is
I
like
was like, it was like
you're
if you're surfing on all the leaves, like you're on top of everything, then it's just what dwells beneath
right.
type of yeah,
There has to
yeah.
be a level of like the hidden unknown. Like there is life and danger, but you have open visibility in all directions except what lurks beneath you.
I
I
think that's
I think
that's it right
that's
there. That's the money. You can see in all directions except for the murky like even space because it's just like
right.
it's what
There's
is
a
yeah no it's really
terrifying abyss beneath you that you can't like see what is coming.
cool.
Um I think that it is yeah. Because even like airship pirates, I feel like if they are just like airship pirates and they're just like flying above like the
Well, yeah,
land, that
the
feels
clouds
different
become
than
the
like
clouds
up
almost
in the
become that
clouds.
yeah, it becomes that like there is this threshold of maybe it's when terminal velocity hits because
Mm.
if something's just like hot air ballooned or like at the top of like a tall tree
There's
that still
something so
feels
funny about hot air balloon pirates
well that's what I'm saying if it
just
was something where it
chasing you
was
so slowly.
if it's as tall as you know what if it's as tall as a tall building then it
Yes.
still seems tenable it still seems
Hmm.
reachable and it feels connected but like whenever it's like airships it is so supposed to be so far removed it's
Hmm.
like to to leave my vessel means death
Ooh,
you
yes.
can't walking the plank means death
Hmm.
when you board another ship you have to be careful and go and do it because if you slip up you will die
Yeah.
getting thrown overboard means death.
Yeah.
It like a pirate adventure, like part of what makes that ship so important, even if it's just like it is
It's
just the vessel, it's if you fall off it, you will die.
it's your home,
So
but it's also
therefore,
your lifeline. Like there's
yeah, so
no
therefore it's just like
yeah.
you love it because even if you're just like, yeah, the beds are uncomfortable, the food sucks, but guess what? I'm not dead.
Right.
It literally is just the thing that it keeps you alive.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
think
there
that's
is
very good.
this I think that the vessel thing being a member of the crew kind of is just something that happens, but I think the most important aspect is just that it is the thing that keeps you not dead. right? Is that the phrase? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like it is keeping you from that void of just drifting off, and whether it's sinking or plummeting or whatever the thing is, or falling through branches, it is just it is just always going to be the thing that you will be tethered to no matter what.
Yeah.
um there will not be like I've this whole time been playing double dutch in my mind of when I'm going to ask you, when are we going to force you to watch One Piece, because there is this, I didn't think about it like this, but if I think of them as like adventures or something like that,
Yeah.
there is very like people like they're the characters that are pirates, and they're like, we're gonna take what we want, we're gonna get treasure. And then there's the main characters that are kind of like, I'm looking for this thing. Yeah, I'm a pirate, and it's like he's a good guy.
Right.
And only once
Well,
in a while he'll do something
I don't think
piratey.
I don't think pirates are necessarily not
well,
good guys.
No, but that's the thing.
Right.
There's this connotation that comes with pirating, and it is the lawless that
Yes.
I'm gonna go
there's
do what I want.
absolutely a lawless nature
Okay,
to it.
well, here it is. Here's what it is. It's normal people are tethered by rules, laws, social norms, decorum, things like that. And a pirate would see those things as chains to keep them from whatever their thing is, even if it is something like getting food for my family, whatever it is. So they shake those off. But
Sure.
anything that deviates from the norm is evil. People fear what is different, what breaks the rules, what they can't control. So that equal bad. You are going to break the rules. That means you are going to kill me.
Right.
You break the rules, you will steal all my stuff.
Yeah.
And because there are people that do that, that proves me right.
Right.
So by extension, that means too. And right? And it sucks. It's like one of those things where it's like, it's a slippery slope. When you take it to its like extreme, it'll get there. It's like, well, why can't I just love adventure? So it's, well, if you can do this, that means that person could just blank. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, that doesn't mean I want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's this one of those things where you can't have it without acknowledging it, type of thing.
Yeah. Well,
because
it's the Robin Hood debate, right? Like Robin Hood is a criminal. Like he is. He steals. He gives it to the poor, but like he's still a criminal. But he's a criminal whose morals are accepted by the community he's in. And I think there's a misconception that like all pirates are these like lawless, like heathen, like they're just gonna do whatever they want, like all this stuff. The something that's very important about pirates is that they're like, yes, they are, like, if we're looking at like a D&D alignment style, right? Like they're probably chaotic, is their alignment, but they do have like a lot of, if you look back at like pirate ships and stuff like that in the real world, like there are very strict like codes of like, these are the things that you're allowed to do as a pirate.
It's my favorite alignment, and I didn't realize this now when I think about it, because I've always jokingly said like I'm chaotic, lawful chaotic, and it is kind of like I'm gonna do whatever I want, whatever I need to. There's rules to it though. No land. I'm gonna do this though. Hey, let me if I put this up, this is what this means. Like, you know, fear me. If I'm going over there and I don't have this flag and I'm not doing this, I'm just trying to get some bread.
Right.
Hey, nobody has to worry. I'm literally just trying to get something to drink.
I have a very specific, like, I follow rules and law and stuff, but I don't follow yours. Like, I don't follow the rules and laws you've said are the laws, but I do follow these rules.
And even in like pirate things, it's always like if there's like a pirate society or there's pirate rules or something like that, anyone that is just so far removed
Mm-hmm.
From that,
Yeah.
even amongst like there's just like you're putting a target on your back type of
Mm-hmm.
thing, but like it's always so cool. Like it'll give you chills when you see a character in something where they're the most feared and most renowned, or
Mm-hmm.
they're whatever it is, and they follow the rules or they have whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like, I'm so good, I didn't let XYZ stop me
Right.
from being good.
Yeah.
You have to do this stuff to try to get to where I'm at.
Right.
No, I'll parlay.
Right.
I'll do this. We'll have a court type of thing.
Yeah.
I can do that because I'm that good, and I will
I
get there on my terms.
it reminds me of
I think
the
your own terms are a big thing.
right. It reminds me of the there's a scene in I think the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie, where they're having this like vote on like who's gonna be the pirate king or whatever.
Mhm.
And they like have the vote, and spoilers if you are in sitting here and you haven't seen the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
and they take a vote on who's who's going to be the pirate king, and they've had this vote a bunch of times, and like they've never been able to like actually have it go through. uh and so they have the like this vote, and the reason it's never gone through is that like every pirate just votes for themselves, like they're just voting for
Mhm.
themselves to be it. And so they go around and every pirate votes for like themselves, except when it gets to Jack Sparrow, who votes for Elizabeth Swann. And like she now has two votes, which is like the last of the votes. That means they won. And the whole table is up in an uproar about like how Jack like did all the like, oh, you've gone against the code, all of this stuff. And he's like, so am I understanding that you will not be like following the code here in like making them the pirate king, because like the vote happened. And
Mhm.
the one person in the corner who's like the like keeper of all of the like rules and laws and stuff like that of the pirates like looks up, and everybody else is like looks over at them in complete fear, and then they're like, okay, fine, you're the pirate king. Like there are laws and rules, but they are
Mhm.
for pirates. um Somebody in the chat said, don't do it. Oh no, you spoiled it. I apologize if you haven't watched those movies at this
How many
point.
Pirates of the Caribbean movies
I
are
don't
there?
know, like at least 5. There might be 6. I have no idea. I've lost count. The
And they're trying to do more. They're trying to do more.
No, please stop. The first 3
Mhm.
were masterpieces. I love those movies immensely. Um there's one other thing that is kind of important in to pirates in my opinion, which is uh
Swag.
yes, swag for sure. But there's something that sets them apart from like adventurers in my personal experience. um
Mhm.
Adventurers may have like a leader of their team, but that's usually
Mhm.
where the like leadership hierarchy ends. Like there may
Mm.
be a team leader, um but on a ship with pirates, like there is the captain, there is the first mate, there's the second mate, there's the bosun, there's the like navigator. Like they have rules and roles, and there are like uh very clear hierarchies. There's also usually a level of
Oh.
like a clear differentiation between like with an adventuring party, it's like, okay, even if this person is the leader of the group, like we're all taking an equal share of the whatever income we make, like that sort of thing. Like
Booty. You can say
we're
booty.
divvying
I
up.
think
Yeah.
booty's not
uh
censored. You can say
yeah.
it.
Like we're all sharing that at the end of the quest. Like if there's magic items, we're dividing them up, like that sort of thing. With a pirate, there is a very specific breakdown of like this is how much of the treasure is going to this person, this is how much is going to this person, and
Really?
it's not necessarily a clean break
Really?
across the board. So usually I could be wrong on this. Again, like I said towards the beginning, this is a something I love and have knowledge on, but I don't have encyclopedic knowledge on it. From my memory, it essentially breaks down to it is divided into shares. Each normal crew member gets one share. But then also people like the bosun, the navigator, stuff like that, get 1.5 shares. The captain gets 2 shares. Usually there are shares set aside for the ship itself. And so
Oh.
you
Oh
total
yeah, this is
you total the
legitimately
entire amount of shares that is required by your crew, and then the treasure is divided by that. And so there is a very clear hierarchy, and you know who you report to and who is who you are responsible for and stuff like
this
that.
is hold on. This is actually kind of cool right here. The cash was divided amongst the pirate crew according to a strict hierarchy. Everybody gets one share, but some like a quartermaster gets a share and a half. The captain getting 2 shares.
Mhm.
Um, and if there was like something that could
I'm
not be,
really impressed I was able
that's actually
that lived
fancy
in the back of
items.
my memory.
This is something fancy items that could not be divided were sometimes auctioned before the mast.
Mm,
So it's like everything that's gathered is given to the quartermaster. It's like he gets literally everything,
yeah.
and he's going to be almost like the accountant. This is the one. That's who I would want to be. I want to be the one where it's just like you were like, oh, we need swag, and I was like, God, you know me. I like to play the most like humany human in a
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah.
and I would just love to be the pirate ship. It's like, and it's me in a
You
vest and a monocle,
absolutely
and
would
it's just
love
like
being the accountant of a pirate ship as your
I love
character.
subverting expectations, so I just love all the saltiest of pirates, and it's me. It's just like, gentlemen, I have the reports. It's just like,
I genuinely feel like it would be so interesting if an adventuring party was we've got our gold. We here is all the gold. It has been divided up again between everybody. And now here are the items, the magic items that don't have a clear gold value. This isn't a 50 gold piece diamond. A 50 gold piece diamond could be given as part of the actual payout. But an item that you're this is a +2 rapier. Those items don't have a clear this is how much this is worth, unless the ship had already decided this is the value of those items. I think it'd be very interesting to have a adventuring party that once you've gotten all that stuff, any item is auctioned to the party of okay,
that would be kind of
everybody can place a bid on receiving this item, and that's how you do party funds. Is you divvy up the gold equally to all to all characters, and then any items are auctioned to
that's
the
actually we need to
to
write
the
that
team.
down. That actually is
And then those
brilliant.
funds immediately go into party treasure to raise people or anything like that. So those funds are then going to go back into the party. It's not like you're spending it at a shop where the money is no longer like within the team economy.
That's actually
It
really
is specifically I am willing to put this amount of gold towards the team in exchange for that item.
well. I was thinking about like Monopoly rules, like in legitimate like by the book as written Monopoly rules,
Mhm.
like if somebody lands on a property, you don't just go like, do you want it or not? It's like, do you want it? No, it goes to auction,
Right.
and then the starting bid is like $1.
Right.
So it's like if you don't want it, it can go for $5 or something like that. So it's
Mhm.
literally like auction. All right, who wants to bid what? So it's kind of like you can do the fun. Hey, all right, we're gonna bid on this to make it fair.
Mhm.
It's like 5, 10, and then oh, we're fighting against each other, or like, oh, I don't need that, so you just take it. But then whatever money you bid does go to the banker, which is the ship, and
Right.
then you can just write off food, you can just write off whatever because of that party fund mechanic where it's just like it's all being dived in there.
It
Uh,
also means that if you had like an item where you're like, this is an item that we want this person to have. This is
mhm.
a good item that will benefit them tremendously. It means, okay, we put stuff up for auction, and the that item goes up. If everybody is agreed that this person should have it, nobody bids. That
Yeah,
person bids on that item for like whatever.
yeah.
It is theirs, and now like there's a little bit of funds into the party treasure, but like that item went to that person.
Hmm.
It also means that you could also do this after, like when you're getting higher levels and people have stuff that they're not using anymore. If
Hmm.
a player was like, hey, I don't need this like +2 weapon anymore because I got this other weapon that is like better for my build. Like let's put this weapon up for auction in the next round. And if anybody else wants it, they bid on it. That treasure goes in, or that gold goes into maybe like a 50-50 split between the person who put it up for auction and the party treasure.
What I
Um,
don't like about that is that it it's kind of like in a traditional sense is like why don't you just give it to them type of
sure,
situation. What I
you
do like
absolutely
what
could. It's
no
yeah,
what I think it's really cool about it is it makes if you do this in the sense where it's like they have to keep track, um the what made the necessity for it feeling like everybody's doing something is because the ship won't move
hmm
without people doing anything.
right,
And unless you want a lot of people on board, if it is just a party, you have to pull your own weight and
right,
be a navigator, to be a bosun,
yeah,
to be like to do all these things. So there's also this like hands-on like it's like one of those things where it's like the reason the boat the reason I'd countered before saying like the boat doesn't need to whatever, it's because it's made whatever because the party values it for their lives. The
right,
party has to work it to whatever,
yep,
and it builds it up to be that thing you described,
hmm
but it's because of all those things connecting it to making it that.
yeah,
But what's really good is if to give the players more time to do what they need to do and less like early levels, like everybody's got to be the bosun navigator, blah blah blah, and then you can make it so it's like, oh, we hired deckhands and stuff like
hmm
that. If you factor in those type of underlings and hirelings and crew members into like the splits and stuff, you can do what you said of like, I don't need this sword,
right,
put it up for auction. And it's not, I'm putting it up for auction for you three.
right,
We're putting it up for auction to see which one of these guys. And then the GM has kind of like all right, one of their crew members has a cannon.
right.
You know what I mean?
One
Like,
of the crew
and
members
it's
is
that,
now like wearing +1 leather. Like yeah, the
and yeah, and you can go like, everybody keep track of what you're doing because if you make an auction a regular occurrence,
hmm
there would be less what I like to call deep closet situations
hmm
where it's just like, everybody's only using what's in the front of their closet type of whatever, and then randomly they'll like, oh wait, you know what, I have a cape that was all the way in the back of my closet, apparently does
hmm
this. I have this item that fell into the bottom back of my closet. There'll be less deep closet situations
yeah,
because they have to constantly think about, um I don't need this, but you know what, since I'm not using it, don't need it, if I just auction it off, the boat gets more money to do boat stuff and we don't have to worry about it. It's no skin off my nose.
hmm
And then that's just outfitting one of them. Take it off my character sheet and you only manage the things you are positive you're gonna need.
right,
Because worst case scenario, you could like pull rank and try to get it back if you super need it back. But
sure.
like
Poor form
it's
though.
like, huh?
Poor form.
You gotta flex sometimes. Um, but just making it so it's just like your items will never have to sit
Right.
because it's just going to always be working for the benefit of the party.
It also like I don't know if if this is a frustration of yours as a GM. It's a frustration of mine is that players, when they get a bunch of gold, inevitably
Mhm.
want to like go to like a magic item shop and buy very specific magic items, and I'm like, okay, well now I
Mhm.
have to come up with like a pricing for this like crazy item. Like that's wild. Um if it is a system where like you can pretty consistently uh provide new items to them
Mhm.
through the game instead of them going to a shop, if you know that those items aren't going to just like stick around in the party forever and just like build up, and or they're gonna like take them to town and just like sell them off right away or something like that, like you can give them those items, because if the party doesn't actually want them, then they go to like the rest of the crew, and the crew gets better.
So,
And so there is also
s-
an incentive for the party to allow their crew to get some of these items. And I would imagine if there's items that nobody wants, that then those items get sold when you pull into port, and like they get sold off to a
I
random
I've
merchant,
already
and then that money goes into the ship funds, or gets distributed to the crew. I think personally, I would just put it directly into ship funds. But
I've already thought of like a crazy ship money mechanic.
of course you have.
I'm writing this down. Ship.
I do want to shout out in the chat. This would be a wildly fun system for a campaign or even a West Marches game. I think a West Marches game using this system is very very cool. Of like there are a bunch of different people, because West Marches. Have you ever played a West Marches game, Junie?
No, not myself, but I know what
Yeah.
they are.
So for anybody who doesn't know, a West Marches game is where players kind of like drop in and out, and they're kind of like a constantly cycling rotation. But like they're all in sort of the same story. Um I think the concept of having a West Marches game where you're like, hey, this like these party members were here for this thing, so they like got this stuff,
Mhm.
but like everyone is still benefiting from the adventure, no matter like if they are able to show up or not. Maybe you only get like a half share if you're not actually there for a session where they recover stuff, but that also means that like if if you go to a session and you don't actively get treasure that session, like you'll still get treasure, like it'll
Yeah.
still it'll still
Yeah.
come to you when you do. But it also means that if items are found, um and you weren't at that session, those items could go up for bid to everyone.
Mhm.
And then you have items where like, oh okay, well this item is really good, and these people who were there, like people want it, but also this other person really would love this item, they weren't there for that session, they still have a chance to get that item for their stuff. And when people are like getting new items and they decide they're done with an old item, it goes into the rotation, so you might be able to pick up something later. Like I think that's a very cool West Marches mechanic.
I was just thinking about like in like Spelljammer there was like a feature where like all the ships have like whatever the captain's chair type of thing. It's like that's like the Spelljammer seat where somebody sits to
Hmm.
pilot the thing for like that's
Hmm.
how people do it. So I was just thinking of like a mechanic where we were talking about selling gold or selling loot and all that stuff. And I
Hmm.
just imagine like a quartermaster's table where it's like the defining feature of a like a real pirate is like, do you have a quartermaster table? And it being like, there's always a pirate kingdom. There's always like, a hub of pirates,
Yeah. Every
So it's kind of like,
any game that has any form of pirates in it should
yeah,
have some sort of pirate
yeah.
city or
And
pirate
it's
port
just
or
and
something.
it's just kind of like the mechanic of like uh instead of like, "Oh, we gotta go somewhere to sell this stuff,"
Hmm.
it's kind of like, imagine this is like the ultimate, money counting machine
Mm.
where it's like you put everything on there, it'll tell you the value of everything. It's like a fixture of the ship. It's not something that can be taken around or whatever. And anything that is like, you're like, all right, this is worth blank, 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 blank. And then you can just kind of cash out, and then it'll be like like almost like faxed. And then you'll get the funds right then and there. Or you can like the way it said something about like putting like real pirates would put things by the mast to auction off.
Yeah.
Kind of like you would go like, all right, so we're gonna hold on to these, we're not pushing these. You kind of like push those to the mast, and it's almost like the mast is like a, imagine like there's an old cartoon that did this, but it was kind of like, imagine like the mast has like carvings into it,
Mhm.
and if you were to shove an item into it, the carving of it would show up, and then that's how you know what's up for grabs. So it's kind of like we put auction items on the ship where it's like, okay, here, this is where people can fight for, bid for it. That money like literally funnels down to whatever the fun treasure chest is, where it's everything's there. The magic table shoots everything to there. But it eliminates the whole, we got to go to port to unload.
Right.
We got to go to port to whatever. There's I think that it shouldn't be something where, I think that should be its only mechanic, is to like do something handle like that, because it'd be kind of cool to like handle the money for you, and it would
Yeah.
give somebody there's if you look at what do you call it, ink Act
Acquisitions.
Inc. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their party members all have roles, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that might be a good template to go like, right, there's a
I loved that mechanic in
yeah, there was a
Acquisitions,
map maker, there was a money
Yeah.
guy, like there was, it's something similar
Yeah.
to that.
It's a
Make it so
business.
one
It's a
person can
company.
do this. It's a bit exactly. But then that kind of led me to this next thing of, what would be your preferred method for them acquiring loot and things? Because if you go in the traditional like D&D, there's dungeons, there's caves,
Mhm.
an evil wizard, then it feels like a adventure, like it feels like that.
Right.
There is this aspect of ill-gotten gains,
Yeah.
and there has to almost like, you can't do it without it being, not necessarily have to be like a dirty like crazy theft, but it needs to be like you are taking
Right.
something in some
Yeah.
way. And how do you thread that needle without it being, are we the bad guys?
Right.
Because you kind of are.
Mhm.
But it's, or you know, are you doing like a Robin Hood thing? It's just like, oh, we just do luxury cruise ships. We don't kill anybody, we don't hurt anybody, we just go for food and clearly obvious out there jewels and valuables. We don't
Right.
rummage, we just do this.
Right.
But then like, who sets that barrier? Do you as a GM? Do you hope that they do it? Like, how do you present opportunities for them to acquire wealth?
It's a great point.
You know, like it's a lot of session 0 type of thing, where it's like, we're gonna do a pirate adventure. What type of pirates do you want to be?
Right.
And hope they get there, or do you push it and go like, hey, let's tell this story together? You know, what if you guys were these kind of pirates, and then they're into that story, and then you could present them with those opportunities where it's just like,
Yeah.
I could present a cruise ship, and I know they're not going to be murder hobos.
Right.
But if you didn't have that conversation,
Yeah.
then it's just like, Jeff is setting fire to the ship. Like, you know, how do you like, and it's one of those things where I know I'm shotgunning it without having, I don't have the solution.
answer,
I don't know the best way. You know, that's why I'm throwing it out into
Yeah.
the water, because, you know, I would play it by feel, by the group right then and there, and then kind of like try to like bob and weave between them. But it's one of those, if you were going to go into this, what would be like an approach?
Yeah. I mean, my first instinct was like, oh, well, maybe they like hunt down other pirate ships and like they're doing that, but like that is super like a big no-no with pirates. Like you don't attack other pirate ships. Like if you're attacking other pirates, like that is a declaration of war against them. Like if they have other allies, they're going to come after you. If it is a like
Mm-hmm.
a any sort of like pirate organization, like that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a big thing.
I guess it would have to be something like that where it's just like the pirate king is
Right.
like we have like we talked about like the ones that got there by following the rules and those
Hmm.
that don't. It's like you're the one that goes after the ones that don't.
Right.
And the benefit is you get to just keep whatever there, but we need them
I
dealt
do.
with.
That is interesting. Where you are sort of like
Pirate
a
privateer
privateer, a privateer who's like hunting down pirates for pirates.
for pirates
Um,
because it's just like, yo, we got a good thing. We need to stop these
right.
guys from messing it up for
There's
everybody.
some like rogue element that is
Yeah.
started up. Yeah.
Hey, people
In
want to take stuff. We don't care. These people are getting sloppy, almost like mafia-y type
yeah.
of situation.
Yeah. In my homebrew world, I have a place called Bender's Point, which is a pirate city. It is a haven of pirates. And what makes it unique is that it is this like it's on the very end of this like landmass. Getting there from land is very difficult. And then on the water there are a lot of like very shallow areas with like large rocks that come up. There's a lot of like small islands that are hard to see, and so it's very difficult to navigate through those to get to Bender's Point. And so there are like constant shipwrecks of people who have tried to get there. Like the Empire has stopped trying to wipe it out because they've lost too many people like trying to take it over. And so it is this like pirate haven. You have to know the way through Bender's Point to be able to sail in and like get to the actual port. But I have a council of pirates where there are like different pirate they refer to it as like flying under different flags. And so there are like 8 pirates that are on this like council as like the leaders of this organization. Each of them has a very specific flag. And pirates like new pirates and new ships and stuff like that can petition to fly under the flag of one of these captains to like join their ranks. They pay a percentage of what they take to these pirate families. But in return they fly the colors of one of these pirates. And so other pirates on this council like no, we don't mess with those ships. So you could very easily do something of that nature of like, okay, pirates who are flying flags that are not represented by like the order, rogue pirates, stuff like that. You could also do a setup where you're like, okay, this is it really depends on how you're like orchestrating this. If this is going to be a long running campaign
Mm-hmm.
where people are going to be playing over years and years, and so you need a
Y-
bunch of different missions, or if this is a shorter running campaign like the one we did with Rosie was like we had an objective. We had a thing that we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we like went off to do that mission. That was the arc. So you could do a like we're after this one treasure. Like this big treasure is the one that we're after. And that could be a full arc of like tracking down the pieces of that, like finding the people who like ran off with the compass you need and the map you need, and like there's
I
a
I've
key and stuff like
I
that.
can't I've held it in for too long and now it's just we are going to do this whether it is for content or for my sanity
Uh-huh.
or just to punish you. um I'm announcing today that Hunter and I will be watching One Piece. There are 1,107 episodes,
Yeah.
13 specials and 15 movies, and we are going to watch them because there's so many things that you've described with joy on your face.
Hmm.
And I'm
I love
like,
pirates.
yeah, and I think you would love. I think there is an abridged version. Oh well, abridged like the abridged ones online. It's funny. Uh they put in what they want type of thing. I think
Mhm.
that there is like there are ones that like they cut out filler.
Mhm.
But I would be so interested in just seeing you watch this because
Yeah.
I always tell people when they're like, "Oh, I don't know," it's like finding the one that's right for you.
Mhm.
And One Piece is a daunting mountain for a lot of people, but for
I have
you,
a lot of friends that would be very very excited if I started watching One Piece.
I think there is just something about this show that you would love because it is your it threads that needle of like pirates, yes,
Mhm.
but fun,
Mhm.
but still pirates.
Mhm.
Like I think very early on there's a point where there's a young man and he was spoiler, it's like first few episodes, but it's like he was held captive by pirates, so forced to work with them, meets the protagonist helps him out of a jam. He wants to be a navy officer, is like the police, the world police
Mhm.
type of thing, but you can't, so it's like you were on a pirate ship for years, they're not going to
Mhm.
trust you, you can't do that. um so he's the police come up to him, it's like, hey, weren't you on that ship too, aren't you with those pirates? And then the protagonist is like, what? uh yeah, he was a dirty, like he mopped for he wanted to join them, and then the kid like hits him out of anger.
Mhm.
So then the protagonist whoops his at, like, there's a kid and he's like, everybody's like a kid, but they're like
Right.
grown men and they'd be at
Yeah.
16. He whoops his ass, he's like, hey, cut it out. All right, he's clearly not with them. And then he smiles and he goes, and it's just like, oh, he beat him up so he could join the police. He
Mm.
fulfilled his dream by whooping his ass, and stuff. And it's just like, and I was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm a pirate, I'm just gonna beat him up, like, what I
Mhm.
mean, like his solution was like, I'm not held down by like, oh no, I'm gonna fight for him. Is like, no, I'm just gonna beat him up. And
Right.
it's just like that needle of like, oh yeah, hey, i'm not I'm not evil, but I'm a pirate.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
kind of like, hey, don't fuck around, you'll find
Yeah.
out. um and he has that big like, I'm not evil, but fuck around and find out energy,
Yeah.
pirate energy that you would love.
Okay.
Also, he's stretchy, the protagonist is just stretchy, and I think you would I just want to watch this with you
Okay.
and just go over this because there is it hits so many of the notes that we've talked about.
Mhm.
um and for what you were saying, like long form campaign or something like that, it boggles my mind to know that it's still going on.
Yeah.
Like this show is still happening, and the whole thing is like, when you were like, oh, they're going after one thing, like they're after the One Piece.
Mhm.
Like that is, they're after a thing, and whoever finds it will be king of the pirates. Like that's the whole point of the show, is they're looking for this thing. And the creator has gone on record saying, like, they were like, hey, is this some sort of tangible, like it was the friends you made along the way type of thing? He's just like, no,
Mhm.
I wouldn't do that to you, type of thing. Because after how many decades, is just, you're like, hey man, are you gonna do a bait and switch on us? Are you just
Mhm.
gonna be like, hey, psych, don't do that to us? But yeah, we need to do this. Also, there's too many things that need to be written down from this like, I
We could
really
do it. We could do a whole other episode about pirates. I I think both
yeah,
of us
and
have
hone in on
a
things.
lot of thoughts on this topic. So I'm always down
But
to talk
the
pirates.
I think if I may, unless you had another thing, I was gonna sum some things up.
No, I think we've covered a lot of it. Yeah.
This is going to be going on YouTube.
This
So yeah.
episode.
Yes.
We'll see what happens with One Piece stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but somebody asked if this was going to be on YouTube. This is being
Oh,
recorded. Yeah.
I interpreted it
Yeah.
as us watching you One Piece would be on YouTube,
Oh,
which
that'd
maybe
be
we'll see.
no. I would just want to go like, we watched episodes 1 through whatever. What did you think?
Right.
And then just gathering your reactions every once in a while. But I think for the central aspect of a pirate adventure is a ship
hmm
and a medium that must be traversed that isn't clearly no an expanse that needs to be traversed, because I'll say that isn't
Yep.
clearly land, but if it's a desert it's fine, because it just can't be you can see things that can be, like you said, like something can be hiding behind it.
Mhm.
Like what is known, there needs to be just an expanse where possibilities are beyond or below and you can't
Mhm.
see them. The whole thing is just going,
Mhm.
and the ship will take you there, and over time it will become its own character, because everybody will want to rely on it to avoid plunging to their death, and also it requires more than just itself to operate. You can do a
Mhm.
sentient ship, but then it becomes more of like then it feels kind of like a horse situation. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because then it's just like, it is no longer, it is keeping them alive, but there is this I want to say emotional attachment, but there is an attachment that people will feel, like, when you grow your own food it
Yeah.
tastes better type of
Yeah.
situation. They are the ones operating this thing, maintaining it, upkeeping it, so there's going to be that attachment to it, that sense of protection they're going to feel towards it.
Mhm.
um there is going to be this sense of rebellion
Mhm.
against a conventional norm, social, whatever shackle you are breaking, they will be in the eyes of someone as bad,
Mm.
even if they
Mhm.
are not doing anything bad. Someone will villainize them
Right.
no matter what. That
There
does not
has
mean that
to
they
be a
have to,
level of
but
like hunted almost.
yeah, there needs to be something where it's just like they are going against something. So if you want to make it clean and just make it be that, like, oh, everybody stays on land, traversing the seas is a tantamount to, like, blasphemy. So an organization has airships go hunt out pirate boat ships, and
Mm.
that's why you're like, you just wanted to go out there. Dang, I just wrote it, y'all. There we go. There it is. You stay on land where the gods put you because they gave you legs to walk, and then you go out on a boat. It's like Moana, and then you're not supposed to go out, but you went over that hill with grandma's manatee wave powers, and then not manatee,
Manta ray.
manta ray.
Yeah.
And then you are hunted by that, and then there's people that survive out there, and you have to figure out what you have to get to survive, and you're getting, yeah. But just a sense of you're breaking some sort of conventional rules,
Mhm.
but it does not mean law. Like, what did I say the other day where it was like my games can be rules light but never rules free.
Mm. Mhm.
You live by, I think you said something where it's just like not their rules type of thing,
Right.
so it's you are shaking off some things but not like everything, because then it's like you're an animal. I don't know.
Mhm.
um but like vessel, expanse, and some sort of like foil to
Mhm.
like opposition, you're being villainized for. um I think that we could probably, I don't know how to tap dance around the whole acquiring of wealth
Mhm.
or an approach on that. I feel like that is a definite table by table situation, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
um if you want to play like, oh yeah, the GM sets it up, it's like everybody's ultra wealthy except for, this bottom percent, and we're playing those people. That's the game you want
Yeah,
to
but
play.
that
you
then
know
takes takes it in a different direction of
it,
like
it
it loses something. Like there has to be a level of like uh doing it to survive sort of energy.
I don't know if like there are definite like, and you correct me if I'm wrong here. I think that there is, and this is like a session zero thing, or you got like really hammered out with the players like
Mhm.
backstories beforehand. When it comes to adventurers, they could be going for a goal to save the world, do a task, or just become wealthy and powerful, right?
Mhm.
With pirates, it doesn't always seem like that. Like, you know, you'll hear of a pirate retiring or something like that,
Right.
but it's like they're doing this,
It's a life.
it's a life,
Yeah.
and they're definitely doing it like, yeah, I'm looking for this treasure that
Right.
I know will, you know, set me up for the rest of my days. And
Mhm.
then but it's like the whole thing is we don't see that happen. The whole
Yeah.
point is like they're looking for
Well,
it and
and
they're always going for it.
I think that's also an important distinction is like in in a lot of pirate media, um, the pirates aren't looking for like, oh, I'm looking for this treasure because once I have that treasure, like it'll set me up for life and then I can retire. The majority of the time, it's like it's the thrill of the hunt, it's the adventure, it's the like the call of the ocean, it's the like the beckoning of the gold. Like it's that sort of like almost dragon in nature of like it's
Mhm.
the drive to find and like hoard, and then like you find the gold and then you take it to another island and you bury the gold and then you leave
Yeah,
an
and
elaborate series of clues.
yeah, in
Like
some cases it is kind of like, yeah, like if you were to ask that person, you know, like, all right, you find if you find XYZ, what then? It's just like, then I go get the next one
right.
type of thing. Or
Yeah.
it's just like, what do you mean? Then I'll have it. And then it's like, what do you do next? It's like, well, then I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And it's just like, wait, what? You know, because it's sometimes it's supposed to be like for, you know, and you might get one that's they're older. It's like, I'm tired of this. I want to
Hmm.
just sip mai tais on a beach. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you know, but then they've that's after X amount of adventure, X amount of time and all that stuff. You know, that's not where our campaign's gonna take place.
Hmm.
Like, unless you're gonna do like everybody's really old and they're like just trying to get a retirement fund.
I
It's like we
just
just need
need
to get
one more score.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like we're just getting the pirate scepter of Trogmadoon, and then we will retire. And like, okay.
Yeah.
Then the scepter makes them all young, and then they got to do it all again. Um, damn, I wrote it all. I wrote the entire adventure right now.
um
Um,
yeah, there's a lot of different stuff. I also thought of one other thing on this topic. We have to wrap up.
we have to, yeah.
But one other thing on like the topic of pirates. Something that I have found very effective, because the problem with uh starting a campaign where it's like you are a crew of pirates and like, okay, now establish what your rankings are and stuff like that. Like who's the captain, who's the first mate, like
Hmm.
all of that. Like the characters don't know who they are yet. You're much better off having them start as like new to the ship and learning the ways of the ship, or like they've been on the ship for a while but they're just regular crew. And then like having them fill positions as they become available. So like, oh well, the bosun is no longer there. You're proficient in like carpentry tools. Like the bosun is like losing the movement of his hands and like needs to take on an apprentice, and so it
Mm.
takes you on when the bosun like is no longer with the ship, like you become the bosun, like doing that sort of thing. It also endears the party to the crew as a whole, and also gives them a way to like uh uh, feel connected to the ship, because they are like being brought up in it and like being taught to respect it. And if you have like a situation where you want them to be like, okay, no members of the party are in like none of the original uh leadership of the ship. We want all of them gone. You can have it be a situation where like the captain is wounded in battle or something like that, and knows he's not going to be able to make it, and like passes it down to somebody from the team. But you can like make that call later. Like they don't have to be leadership right off the bat. Um, and I've seen GMs who will do a pirate adventure where it's like, oh, okay, well you're new to the ship and you're like the new deckhands, and so you're just being like kicked around, and like a mop is given to you, and like it's like they are right from the beginning trying to foster this like antagonistic feeling towards the leadership of the ship, because they want them to then transition into like, oh, we're gonna mutiny and we're gonna take control of the ship and like all of that. But there's no love for the ship built doing that. There's no like you can't teach them like the way the adventure calls, like the code of ethics that the ship hangs on. Like you can't do that if it's immediately fostering antagonistic energy towards the crew. If you bring them up and you are like, you're a part of the crew, which means you're family. Like this is the
Family.
like this is the ship. You're part of the ship, you're part of the crew. Like you are everybody is equal except for like leadership is like in charge, but you're still equal. You all can die on the sea. Like there is a great equalizer there. And so you can build that sort of like rapport and relationship, and build an affection for the ship itself, and then that ship becomes important to the players as well. Because I've ran pirate adventures where it was like, okay, the pirates got like the players got their ship, they go off and do their stuff. The first opportunity they have to get a better ship, they jump off of their ship and go to the other one, because it's like a mount. But like, if that's the case, you don't get situations like Jack Sparrow's primary drive through like the beginning of the series is, I want to find the Black Pearl. The Black Pearl means everything to me. Like that is my ship. I love that ship. Like I'm going to go find that ship. Like he like the Black Pearl. I don't know if you know this. This is Pirates of the Caribbean lore. We have to stop talking. This is Pirates of the Caribbean lore though. The Black Pearl. Jack Sparrow was hired to transport a cargo by the East India Trading Company. The East India Trading Company gives him his cargo, which is a shipment of slaves. He has 100 slaves on his ship that he's supposed to transport. He doesn't do it, sets them free, and for doing so, is branded as a pirate, even though he wasn't technically a pirate at the time. Is branded a pirate by the East India Trading Company, and his ship is burnt and sank. He then makes a deal with Davy Jones to have his ship raised from the bottom of the ocean, which is why it's like that black hull and the dark sails, is because it burnt. But it raises the price for it is 100 souls brought to Davy Jones. So because he refused to transport 100 slaves, he has to pay 100 souls to Davy Jones. So it's like souls for souls. There's a line, and I don't know if it's in the actual final cut of the movie or if it was just a line that got deleted. But one of the like British like bad guys is like you had to transport a cargo, and Jack is like, people aren't cargo. And like there's this this whole subplot that like isn't really touched on a whole lot, but like that ship is everything to Jack. Like he he sold his soul essentially to get it brought back. He is like only interested in trying to hunt this ship down to like reclaim it. Like if you do not have that relationship that you build between the party and the ship, then you're missing out on a very important element of that experience. So
I like showing them wordless communication. I always like it when people in a game can see something and make that like extrapolate all these feelings and like the meaning of things without actually having to dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the one pirate game I did was I was like worried about the whole crew situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want them to have to like actually be crew. So I had a crew, like a pirate ship, come up and like board them,
Mm-hmm.
but it was their ship was just damaged,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just on a trajectory, and they so happened to like intercept type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they were very easily defeated, and I made them roll checks to see. I was like, these guys look rough, and their ship looks like it's about to just be done.
Yeah.
And then they realized it was like these people are just hungry or something like that. And it was kind of like they absorbed that crew,
Mm.
but then it was a matter of getting rid of the old ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent a second on saying how hard that was
Yeah.
for the other one. And then they were able to like kind of piece together, it's like they loved that ship that much.
Right.
That's how important a ship needs to be.
That's
and
been their home. That's been their
yeah,
sanctuary. Yeah.
this is how it is. And then for them that it was the ship was fresh to them, it's kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, we need to care.
Yeah.
Like, because otherwise, yeah, they got lucky. We might not get lucky type of thing.
Yeah. I like that.
And with that, we'll have to push our reggaeton discussion to another day.
Do you have calls to action for this? I feel like there are little things, but like, do you have anything?
I just need to Google something real quick. There aren't literally enough hours because there's 438 hours of One Piece, but watch as much One Piece as you can this weekend. And just at me if you feel you wasted your time, or at me if you feel that I've ruined your life because now you are just gonna have to binge this.
Yeah. Where can you watch One Piece?
Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll's like the big one for anime, but I know it is on Netflix as well.
Okay.
And I think there's other like accessible ones,
right?
Because the movies and stuff that one, no, but like like I said,
I know
Netflix
did like a live action series recently.
They
too,
just did the
they?
live action one. People are, I mean, I was okay with it. I think it wasn't like the Cowboy Bebop one. I liked it, but people trashed it. I don't think people universally trashed this.
Okay.
But the vibe is there. The vibe is there.
So watch as much One Piece as you can. Let Junie know if he has wasted your time or if you are now addicted or anything in between. Let's say find an adventure, something that calls to you, and just go do it. Jump in your car, roll down the windows, play like the Pirates of the Caribbean theme, and just like drive to wherever you need to go to like do some quest.
I had everything you just said, but the only difference was the song was "I'm on a Boat" by The Lonely Island.
Also
everything
a good
you described,
option.
I was like, yeah, everything you said, and then I was like, oh, but the song choice is different.
Yeah, I mean, any boat or adventure theme music will work. But find a small adventure that calls to you, and go do it. Like even if that's as simple as like, hey, I need to go grocery shopping. Cool, do it. But like, do it with like the spirit of adventure.
I got one for the last one.
Yeah, go for it.
We were talking about vessels and whatnot, and part of what makes them so important, aside from keeping you from death, is just the connection you'll feel to it. Take care of your vessel. Wash your car, vacuum it. If you got a bike, oil that chain, pump those tires. If it's your shoes, relace them. Whatever gets you from A to B, show it some TLC, and you will be where you need to be, and X will mark the spot. More letters. But yeah,
I like it.
Go. Yeah.
All
right.
Cool. Well, thank you for hanging out this morning, Junie. Thank you to everybody who hung out and watched. Happy to have you here. We look forward to seeing you around. We will be back on Monday. I had to think about what day today was. I'm really glad it's a Friday and not a Monday. We will be back on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. Bye, y'all.